On this episode, we're back on the abandoned ranch truck with 3 weeks into an 8-week build. We're going to tackle a steering system, a brake pedal, and of course, we need a place to sit. So we're going to get into it right now, show you a couple tips and tricks. Let's go. So here we are back on the brakes for the 38 Ford pickup. I've got the original bracket in front of me. I've got a new master cylinder, and I'm going to kind of make all of this jive so we can still use the original pedal, but eliminate the clutch pedal. Let me get you guys an update on where we're at with the truck too. So the engine, the little 283, we mocked up with the transmission. We've since pulled that out and sent that engine off to the machine shop. The machinist said he cannot build the engine for us in the time frame that we've allowed him to do it, which is 2 weeks. So he said he will, however, do all of the machining and basically get us a bare block and have the heads ready to go. And so what does that mean? Well, it means that I'm going to have to put the engine together in the next, I'm going to have to, basically I'll have 1 day to put the engine together, which is doable. So I'm going to completely assemble the little V8. And we're moving right along. As far as suspension goes, front end's done, rear end's done. Ethan is just kind of finishing up some little grinding and little chassis tabs and things like that. So let's get into the brakes. We're going to do the conversion. We'll show you what we got going. Okay, so this right here is the original 38 Ford bracket that attaches to the X-member. The master cylinder used to hang off of here. It had a pin that went through, and then the clutch pedal ran on the outside. So you had brake like this and clutch like this. Since we're putting an automatic in this, we don't need the clutch pedal, but I do still need the end of the pedal because that acts as the keeper for this shaft. So I'm going to trim this off. I also found in my junk pile, I have this block of aluminum, which is like basically a conversion for a modern master cylinder. It takes it from the early Ford 3-bolt pattern, which you can see there. This bolts on, and it gives me a 2-bolt master cylinder pattern from, this is basically like mid 50s all the way up to the, I don't know, I guess 90s really. So I can run, this is a Corvette style master. I don't know if this is going to fit in there, but I can run this style, or we're going to run for a little, opt for a little bit smaller Mustang master cylinder. Either of them will work just fine. It's all about space. So let's put this together and I'll show you what I end up with. So there are several companies that sell reconditioned or rebuilt original 1938 Ford master cylinders, but I've opted here to run a dual reservoir master cylinder. And there's one main reason why I do this. It's because this isolates or separates the front and rear hydraulic systems. So if you had a failure in the rear brakes, you would still retain hydraulic brake fluid in the front brakes to get the vehicle stopped. And that's really the only reason why we're doing this conversion is safety. All right, our bracketry is sandblasted, cleaned up, and painted with trim black. I'm just gonna throw it together. I also sandblasted the aluminum bracket. We will bolt this all up and we will have a working pedal, which we'll put inside of the truck. And then we may see if this master cylinder fits. If not, like I said, we'll go with that Mustang, like a 65 Mustang. So with all the components sandblasted, painted, and cleaned very well, I re-greased the shaft and put the brake assembly together on the bench. Then I run over and make a little bit of clearance on the chassis for the larger master cylinder, put everything together, and lucky for me on this short timeline of a build, the Corvette style master cylinder does fit in between the chassis rails and the X-member. So we put it all together and we are on the road. Okay, so here we are back in the rust bucket truck. And our pedal, it's all painted and sandblasted. It looks so nice compared to everything else, but I did have to notch the chassis. If you kind of zoom in right here, you can see just a little basic notch. And what's cool is the Corvette style master cylinder will fit in here. So it's gonna sit right like this. There's enough room for the exhaust to come down the side. And then the mufflers are gonna sit right back here. So that's cool. So original pedal, original bracket, aluminum adapter, and Corvette master cylinder to make up the braking hydraulic portion of the brake system. So let's bolt this up and then we will probably call it on this one, and we'll be able to start building our lines and everything else. Like, oh, the best part for me, like the most satisfying part about this is that all of these parts were like laying on the shelf of the hot rod shop for years. Not the master cylinder, but like the adapter, and you know, it's nice to save parts because you know, like there's use for it, and then you actually use it. I think a lot of people get caught up with just saving parts and never using them. I find a ton of satisfaction in using what I've saved for the last few years. So there it is. We have a pedal, we got our master cylinder, and now I'll get out of the way so Ethan can spot weld in the floor pan, which is right underneath the seat. So he's gonna jump on that, and then we'll call it a night because it's getting late.
Plan for today, well, I've already cut this stuff out and got it all dialed back here. So we're moving into the cabin of the truck. We're building a new floor. There's a big hole and we need to cover it. So let's get to it. Here is the hole I was talking about. We're going to patch this up, take some measurements, make a quick template, make sure it looks good, and then we're gonna cut it out of metal, plug weld it in here. Let's do it.
As Ethan lays out his template for the floorboards of the 38 Ford pickup, he's using a 16 gauge cold rolled steel, but still to give it a little more strength and stiffen that panel, he's running a bead down the center of the panel using this Bailey's bead roller and a 1-inch die. He's just gonna put one ribbon down the center. You wouldn't believe really with just this little bit of indentation or divot here, it gives it so much more strength. Then he's going to go around the perimeter drilling 5/16 holes so we can put nice hot rosette plug welds all the way around and secure this panel in place forever.
You're gonna pan up and like it's the same clip?
Yeah, let's do it.
Okay. Funny seeing you here. We got the floor made, well, the back section of the floor. Just plug welds all around. This thing feels really solid. Pretty stoked. Feels safe and sound. Now that that is complete, I think we're gonna clean up for the night, wrap it up for today. Get going to Bonneville. Let's do it. Your wife? No life. One man, one car, 275 miles per hour. Bonneville Salt Flats. Us in like 3 weeks. Buckle up. That was my warm-up. That's like in Anchorman when he's like, unique New York, you know? Oh, I got the light and everything. All right, you ready?
Yeah, let's do it.
Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. I'm here inside the 1938 Ford pickup, the new shop truck, the new Bonneville Bomber, the new After Hours project. We're gonna be making a few modifications to the seat frame today to fit over the new tunnel we made for the drive shaft. So buckle up, let's do it. So basically, I just traced it out, made a little template. We're gonna make the cut on the back, drill a few holes, and plug weld it in place. She fits great over the tunnel, but now this support for the butt cushion is hitting the top of the tunnel. So we're just gonna modify it a little bit, bring it up so it clears. Let's do it. All right, the frame, it fits. All the cuts we made, all the modifications we made. Now all that's left to do is plug weld this sucker in place forever. All right, so the seat frame, we got it all cleaned up, cut up, and plug welded in place. Looking great, ready to go. Ooh, that's luxury. That'll do. Lowered car with little bucket seats, but now it feels normal. Feels like a pickup truck. So this hole here is for the boost gauge. And this hole here, that's so the air intake is gonna pipe through there. Just kidding, just kidding.
All right, so here is our task at hand. We are using the original 38 Ford steering column because I want to run a 40 Ford style steering wheel. And in doing that, we had to chop off the steering box because we're running rack and pinion. And I think it's CPP that sells this cool little bushing kit to go on the end of a steering column. They advertise it as an 1.5 inch ID fitment, inner diameter. So they advertise it for it to slide into an 1.5 inch steering column. But as you can see, when I get it in there, it has play. And so they give me this little tiny, I think it's a little 1024 screw, little set screw here that's gonna, I already drilled the hole, as you can see, and we're gonna bolt that in place. But when I just put one of them in there, it kind of pulls this thing to the side, this little bushing, and I just decided I'm going to add one on the other side as well. So I thought about this, and there are formulas to find the center, but the easiest way to do this, check this out. So all we're gonna do, I've already got the hole set for this bolt. All I'm gonna, and I scribed this. Now I do have the advantage of putting it on my lathe, so I scribed a line, a center line, all the way around this bushing. And I'm going to drill through, since I've got the location of this hole, I'm gonna perfectly drill through to the other side. I'll slide this guy in, I'll mark it on this side, and then I'll drill it and tap it. And that way I'll have two 1024 holes, 180 degrees apart. It'll bolt up in here solid and tight, and then we will be able to finish the modification to run the original steering column in the truck. So let's jump on that right now. So we got our hole drilled all the way through the steering column. As you can see, the first one lines up, which means I will install the bolts or the machine screw, and that will allow me to put a mark on this side and I can drill and tap it. I'm gonna show, so we've got this bolt in here. I'm gonna just flip it over. Now I've got a nice little mark on this side. As I pull this one out. Okay, 20 minutes later, we are ready to throw both 1024 machine screws in place. Okay, I like this setup much better. We've got basically a machine screw, but kind of like a set screw on both sides, so it holds that bottom piece in place. You can see, if you look closely, just by tightening up those two, it's bulged the column a little bit right there, because this machined piece that they advertised at 1.5 inches isn't truly 1.5 inches. So, well, maybe this is 1.5 inches, but the column is probably like 1.6. So that's okay though. It's solid. It'll work forever. And now we can get this column bolted in place and order up our steering wheel. So these little column drops or these little, I don't know, this bushing, I guess is what it's called, is kind of confusing the way it all kind of jives, but it's in there and it's done. So let's go fit this thing real quick. We'll just set a temporary wheel up on there and see how it looks. The seat is in place, which is cool. So basically, I kind of want the wheel to sit right about here. And you can see I did order this aluminum, like 50s nostalgia column drop that Speedway Motors sells. But this is the 1.5 inch drop, and I ordered the 3.5 drop, so it'll sit about right there. And then we'll have to make our lower mount. So I think we're gonna call it a night, and in a few days we'll be able to make all that stuff, and we'll have the right drop, and then we'll be rolling. I kind of like this wheel. What do you think of this wheel?
It's sweet. It looks like a pirate ship.
It's kind of industrial looking.
Yeah, I love it.
Maybe.
Looks like a mag whip.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah, it does, dude. Little BMX throwback. But yep, that's where we land. So more progress on the interior, and I don't know, I got nothing. I'm not feeling it today.
Sorry, YouTube.
I got nothing for you,
Yeah,
but. Hey, thanks for joining us on this episode of the Ranch Truck Build. So we will see you guys at Bonneville in several weeks. On the next episode, we're building that 283 small block Chevrolet. So thanks for watching, and we'll see you on the next one.